ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station. We interrupt our regularly scheduled program for this special presentation of Inter Miami Soccer on ESPN 1063. The pink smoke is in the air. That means legendary goals.
Messi approaches. He goes left. Goal!
Heroic saves.
Big post save. Rios Novo stonewalled them.
Inter Miami Soccer is on ESPN 1063.
Goal de Messi.
This is Pink Smoke. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Lot of news today throughout world football. Obviously, our Inter Miami Herons, they were big winners against NYC FC, down 2-1 in the fixture, winning 3-2, scoring, 2 unanswered goals in the final 35, 40 minutes of the game. But the big MLS news, folks, Antoine Griezmann is on his way to Orlando. And that's interesting because Orlando is a rival. Orlando, that's a derby. That's a Florida derby for our Inter Miami Herons. And honest to God, guys, outside of Lionel Messi, I think Antoine Griezmann might just be the second best player in the MLS. But welcome on back to this edition of Pink Smoke. We are live at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Coming up at 6:20, we're going to have Miguel Gallardo joining the show, a Apple TV analyst, a former MLS player. He's going to be talking Inter Miami football with us here on another riveting edition. I do want to touch on some World Cup with him, some international break stuff too. Damian Perez is our producer and co-host here at the City Place Studios downtown West Palm Beach. Damian, there was massive moves on Kylian Mbappe today. As far as him playing, getting injured again, his status for the World Cup now, I think it is dreary. But Mbappe's knee injury was misdiagnosed after Real Madrid staff scanned the wrong leg. How is this even possible?
How do you do that?
Obviously, folks, we're an Inter Miami-based show where we talk everything Lionel Messi and MLS, but when something like this happens, you got to touch on it. Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, I think is outside of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he might be the third most well-recognized athlete in the world. Mbappe, winner back in 2018, that World Cup. He led Team France as a teenager to their first World Cup in a long time. And then, obviously, last World Cup in 2022, he did everything possible in that game to beat Argentina, where they ended up losing in penalties. But, Dame, my best guess is that something happened here. I'm sorry, a training staff of Real Madrid's caliber. And Real Madrid, folks, you don't know what that club is. That's the club. Real Madrid, they are the world football soccer club. And I refuse to believe that doctors misdiagnosed, read the wrong leg. Something's fishy here, and I don't think we'll ever find out the real story.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it takes me back to a few weeks ago when the injury first popped up. Mbappe got a lot of slack for going back to France and receiving a second opinion. They were kind of just giving him a lot of just hard time for that, because how are you not going to trust your physios? Well, this is clearly why he didn't trust them, because it's not the first time that this has happened with Real Madrid too.
Yeah.
This has already happened before. So, definitely it leaves the door open for speculation for sure.
Listen to this headline. This is from the Daily Mail. Kylian Mbappe's knee injury was misdiagnosed as Real Madrid scanned the wrong leg, as club's former nutritionist accuses Spanish giants of, quote, prescribing supplements based on free Chat GPT results.
And when I saw that report, I had to check like 2 or 3 times that the account was actually a real account and it wasn't one of those parody accounts, because honestly, that's what it sounded like. But sure enough, Bleacher Report even came out with an article about it.
The 27-year-old had scans to determine the severity of the issue, but was unclear to play. But was cleared to play. It's a big caveat. The 27-year-old had scans to determine the severity and was cleared to play. Still feeling pain, Mbappe featured in 3 games for Madrid before their winter break. And that is when the Spanish Giants released their glaring error. They had somehow scanned the uninjured leg. Like, the reason I think something is fishy, if you're Mbappe, how are you not telling these people that's the wrong leg?
That was my next question.
That's why it is so unbelievable. Like, even my partner, Colin Russo from Russo Rizzo, goes, Riz, how is this a thing? How did Mbappe go, hey, that's not the right leg? Something's fishy. That's it. Something is going on. We will probably never find out the real story. But Damian, the first question Colin asked me goes, Riz, is he done for the World Cup? I would think so. If the injury is as worse as they're saying,
it's a partial
if there's
tear to a ligament.
tear to a ligament in a knee, what, 6 months? 6 months of recovery time? I mean,
we are 3 months away, and it's only a partial tear, so there is a chance that he could make it for the World Cup. But I mean, I don't think there's a doubt he's not stepping field for Real Madrid till the World Cup.
I like free Chat GPT results. I mean, listen.
At least pay the subscription.
Right, as our fearless leader and CEO and owner of Good Karma Brands, Craig Karmazin, does. Every single Good Karma brand employees, by the way, Good Karma folks, the company that we work for here at ESPN West Palm, all of us have Chat GPT on our fearless leader, Craig. I call it Craig Karmazin's Chat GPT, okay? You know, at least pay for it. At least get the right results. I can't take this serious. And in a World Cup year, and if you remember, so Mbappe leaves PSG. PSG immediately wins a Champions League the year after. The knock on Kylian is that he cannot get it done at the club level. He leaves PSG to go to the giant Real Madrid to win Champions League, similar to Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo won one at the mighty, Manchester United, go Red Devils. But it's similar. Like, you left the club like United and went to Real Madrid to compete for Champions League titles year in and year out. It's a bad look that your team won it the second that you left. And now the team he handpicked to go to is scanning the wrong leg for an injury. This is like, let me give you a good comparison here. This is like LeBron in his prime getting a knee injury and the Miami Heat and the physios scanning the wrong leg and telling him he's good to play. I mean, how ridiculous is that? World football and soccer, it could get away with this because reporters don't have the access that they do here in the United States like they do in some of these leagues in Europe. Damian, there's no daily press conferences. You're not hanging out after practice and talking to the guys. Like, there's none of that in England. In the Prem, you're lucky to talk to the coach. Premier League, you're lucky to talk to the coach one time a week. And you pray you're going to get him before, or rather after the game and the post game. You pray you're going to get the coach. You pray they're going to give you a player. Like, unacceptable on so many levels. But folks, if you're just joining us, Kylian Mbappe, a misdiagnosed knee injury, reports that the Real Madrid physios were scanning the wrong leg and cleared him to play. And publications like the Daily Mail are saying that the Spanish giants, Real Madrid, were prescribing supplements based on free Chat GPT results. I don't think I've ever read something more ridiculous in my life when it comes to world football, Damian. I don't think I've ever, and to the best player in the world right now, with all due respect to Lionel Messi, who, is arguably still one of the top tier players in the world. I mean, let's be honest. Mbappe, in his current form at 27 years old, is the best player in football.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And it's embarrassing because of what you said. This is Real Madrid. This is not a mid-table team who's fighting to make Champions League year in, year out. This is Real Madrid. The size of this club is enormous. It's probably the biggest club in Europe. So for this to be happening and for them to be using free ChatGPT, the only word I got for it is embarrassing.
Dame, let's get back on track with a little Inter Miami. I mentioned that our Herons were big winners over the weekend. Folks, I'm the voice of Inter Miami Heron football. We're going to be hearing the highlights in just a second. But Inter Miami winners 3-2. They were down 2-1 in the 60th minute. They had 2 unanswered goals to win the fixture 3-2. But Damian, with no Coach Mascherano on the sideline after picking up a double yellow and a red card in the most recent fixture in the MLS in Charlotte. He had to go and watch from the stands. Now, we didn't see him coaching from his cell phone like he was last year. But, Dame, your initial reactions of Inter Miami able to win against New York?
It's a big win. It's a big win because the 3 previous games before that were ties in which we only scored 1 goal combined in those 3 games. So to just come back and play a New York City team who was on fire, you can argue they're probably the hottest team in the MLS at the time. To beat them in New York, that's huge for Inter Miami coming off of a CONCACAF Champions defeat to Nashville. So hopefully this is still momentum we can build on. And also important because I feel like the players that played, like Mikhail got his first goal. Berterame played a great game too. Messi scored. So all around, it was a great game, a great comeback too.
And you mentioned how good NYCFC is. Dame, I think they're going to be a top 4 finisher in the Eastern Conference this year. I truly think with their attack of Fernandez, Morales, Wolf, Ojeda, I mean, that is something special. And I know Matt Freese didn't have the best game, Damian. I certainly hope Matt Freese can be the starter for the United States men's national team. I am not a believer in Matt Turner anymore at the goalkeeper position. But it's a good team. And to do what they did against NYCFC and that second half victory was really, really good. All right, let's start with the highlights, Damian. Once again, I'm Mike Rizzo. This is Pink Smoke on ESPN 106.3. Damian Perez is behind the glass and co-hosting here at the City Place Studios, as he always does in downtown West Palm Beach. We're playing the highlights from Inter Miami's big win 3-2 over New York. Let's listen to my first highlight, Dame. This is Gonzalo Luan finding the back of the net on a rebound corner kick goal to open up the scoring in the 3rd minute. 2 minutes. 2 minutes have been played in the first half. First corner kick in swinger by Messi. Deflected away at one time by Segovia. And a deflection goal. Inter Miami gets a rebound goal. What a strike. Segovia put it on target. And then Inter Miami able to rebound it in the box. And it was actually Gonzalo Lujan who ended up putting a shot on target. And that was a scrum for the ball, Dame. I mean, on the broadcast and when, like, we saw Segovia shoot it, camera still on the ball, and then all of a sudden, or rather, camera still in the net, and then we see the ball in the back of the net.
It's almost like the camera lost it as well.
Gonzalo Lujan, I mean, I wouldn't have guessed. I wonder what his odds were. They're good friends at Hard Rock Bet to find the back of the net.
That was the first goal of his entire career.
That's insane.
Yep.
It's absolute
and you were on the call.
Insanity.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Hey, Gonzalo, my guy. Damian Nico Fernandez got in the back of the net quickly. What a unbelievable free kick this
There's not
was.
a goalie that was taking that out.
And you hear the shock in my voice when this one goes into the back of the net. This was a bar down, upper 90, left-footed goal on a free kick about 5 yards outside of the penalty arc by Nico Fernandez and NYCFC. It'll be Fernandez digging it out, bar down goal. Bar down goal, free kick goal for NYCFC. Oh my goodness. What a strike by Nico Fernandez. The 26-year-old Argentinian makes Inter Miami pay 1-1 at Yankee Stadium. Our Herons now tied with New York in the 16th minute. What a bar down goal. I mean, Dean Sinclair not even attempting to save that. And Damian, I continued after that. He didn't attempt to save it because he never had a chance.
Nothing he can do.
Never had a chance, and you know what, in saving that. But that moment, the 16th minute, score was 1-1. Now, it went 1-1 in the halftime, and then Ojeda, the left winger for NYCFC, Damian, he found the perfect pocket between Luan and Mikhail, and Morales laid an unbelievable pass for him. Here's Ojeda giving NYCFC the lead in the second half. With momentum and space, finds Morales. Morales with a through ball. Shot, goal! New York gets their goal. Ojeda, the goal scorer. What a pass! What Morales with his 5th assist in the MLS season. And he finds a streaking Ojeda who found the pocket between the center backs. Inter Miami down 2-1 in New York at Yankee Stadium. Yeah, and dude, like, It's like one of those moments where the Red Sea's parted, Dame. You've played more soccer than anybody here at the station. It was one of those moments where the defense kind of got caught a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those, and it's a good run. A lot of the credit is also to the run because you have to make that run for someone to pick out that pass. But it's tough on a center back when you do make those runs right in between because it kind of freezes you in a sense. But a great pass nonetheless.
And it didn't last long because Lionel Messi ended up having a free kick goal. Now, it was a deflected free kick goal. It went off of the shirt and shoulder of Nico Fernandez. But let's take a listen to Lionel Messi finding the back of the net on a free kick of his own in the second half, making things 2-2. You think that he might take this on. Messi does take it on. Goal! Lionel Messi with a free kick goal in the 60th minute. He completely fooled Matt Freese. Freese went the wrong way, and by the time he tried to go back to the right way, it was too late. And we saw, once we got a closer look at it, it went off of Fernandez, but Damian, regardless, another free kick goal for Lionel Messi, and Messi keeps doing Messi things right now in the MLS.
Yeah, and we're going to need him. You know, it's going to be a long stretch in the MLS. We're not in the Conca Champions, so all of our eggs are in one basket right now at the moment.
And then finally, Damian, Mikael back stick header, a heck of a ball by Noah Allen. This was the go-ahead goal that Inter Miami was able to hang on to victory 3-2. Allen crosses it back stick. Mikael! Goal! Mikael with a back stick header. What a pass by Noah Allen in the 73rd minute. Inter Miami takes the lead. So Mikael making it 3-2. His first goal is an Inter Miami Heron. Obviously, he's an aerial merchant, as I call it. Mikael, one of the bigger center backs Inter Miami has. He will always be a threat on those headers. Let's take our first time out of Pink Smoke. When we return, we're going to be talking to Miguel Gallardo, Apple TV analyst and former MLS player. Miguel Gallardo coming up next here on Pink Smoke. Talk a little Inter Miami.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Whoa, not that water. You need Culligan water. With a free water test and advanced reverse osmosis purification system, Culligan helps reduce contaminants, delivering cleaner, safer, better tasting water. Enjoy 12 months interest-free. Schedule your free test today at Culligan.com, serving all of South Florida, residential or commercial.
Hey, Culligan man!
On the road, a change in plans. Well, what do you say? With the all-new Audi Q3, the answer's always yes. Yes to adventure. Yes to escape. Yes to performance. Yes to comfort. Yes to right now. Because saying yes without hesitation, that's real luxury. The all-new Audi Q3, made for the yes life.
For 40 years, Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fraunrath has stood up for clients in South Florida communities. If you've been injured, their experienced attorneys across South Florida are ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients. There's no cost for a case evaluation and no fee unless they win. Visit foryourrights.com. That's foryourrights.com. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fraunrath, proud supporters of Inter Miami FC on ESPN South Florida. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Minor League Baseball is in full swing at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium as the Palm Beach Cardinals take the field on opening weekend, Thursday, April 2nd through Saturday, April 4th. Opening night features a Hawaiian shirt giveaway to the first 500 fans, and Saturday, April 4th, is the debut of the Palm Beach Frozen Iguanas, Minor League Baseball's coldest alternate identity, presented by Iggy Trap. To purchase tickets and find out more information, go to RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Kevin McHale, tax partner in Anshin's Real Estate Group.
Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, recent changes to the Opportunity Zone program include a rolling capital gains deferral period, updated basis step-up, and tax-free appreciation rules, new categories of qualifying funds, and revised criteria for the census tracts that qualify as Opportunity Zones. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we help real estate professionals navigate through the new qualified Opportunity Zone rules so their investments align with their goals of maximizing deferrals, minimizing capital gains, and ensuring compliance with the updated legislation. If you're launching a new fund or restructuring existing investments, let Anshin strategically guide you through these changes and deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
This is Pink Smoke.
Messi, one-timer to Segovia, goal!
Here's Mike Rizzo.
Miguel Gallardo still expected to join us here on Pink Smoke. By the way, Miguel, heck of a career, a 12-year goalkeeper. Played for Tigres, was well known as the Orlando City goalkeeper, was actually on Orlando City's play-by-play broadcast before joining the Apple TV crew. So we're still waiting for Miguel Gallardo to join us here on Pink Smoke. But welcome on back, folks. We're in Pink Smoke. We talk everything Lionel Messi, everything Inter Miami, and everything world football. Something that we're going to touch on with Miguel is going to be Antoine Griezmann. Antoine Griezmann, folks, who, I think is already the second best player in the Premier League behind Lionel Messi. Griezmann, a Barcelona player, a French national team player, Atletico Madrid, recently. I mean, he is just a wonder to watch when the ball is at his feet. He's a finesse kind of player. Finesse shots from outside of the box, could put a little mustard on it, give you a power shot too. World Cup winner, to Damian Perez's point, in 2018. And I really do think that immediately, and that's with all due respect to, Thomas Mueller and Heung-min Son, Denny Bouanga. I mean, Denny Bouanga, we saw firsthand how dangerous he is as Inter Miami fans. Bouanga was, in my honest to God, Damian, I'm going to have a hot take here. I think Bouanga was the sole reason LAFC was able to batter Inter Miami at the Coliseum. But Antoine Griezmann is one of those players where he's going to join the team and have an immediate impact, especially in a league like the MLS. Dame, I'm excited. It stinks because he plays for Orlando, but I'm excited to see him play in the MLS, and I think it's great for our league.
Yeah, and those derbies, those I-95 derbies where we go right up the highway or they come right down, this is going to be even more electric now because you got Messi versus Griezmann, former teammates at Barcelona. They've played each other time and time again, actually in a final in a World Cup. So this is going to add just another dynamic, not just to the Inter Miami Orlando City rivalry, but to the MLS in general.
Now, Damian, you as a household Barcelona fan, that's a chapter in history I feel like no Barcelona fans want to remember, is when Griezmann and Dembele came on over. It was really the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird situation, too, because they were clearly flops. And it wasn't just them. It was Coutinho as well. But as they went off to their next team, it's like Dembele became one of the best players in the world. Griezmann is actually still in his prime with Atletico Madrid, one of the best players on that roster. So, for sure, definitely a frustrating period because you thought with that team, Messi, Dembele, Griezmann, Coutinho, you thought Suarez too, you thought you can actually build something in that post-Neymar era, but that was the player they were trying to replace. It was Neymar.
Yep.
And they could just never find that right replacement.
And to Damian's point, Neymar went to PSG, and folks, sometimes the grass isn't always greener. That PSG team that ended up even acquiring Lionel. I mean, I could argue, listen, beyond happy that Lionel Messi is here in South Florida with Inter Miami. A lot of people argue Messi should have never left PSG, and Messi and the board, but both of them should have just swallowed their pride and tried to figure something out. I blame Barcelona more than Messi for Messi leaving Barcelona personally.
Sure. He was definitely pushed out.
He read the writing on the wall that he was not wanted anymore, and he went to Paris and found himself a new home. And then obviously, please, Leo, come stay in South Florida for the rest of your life, brother. We love you down here in Miami. But
and I'm sure he loves it too down here.
Yeah, but like I said about the league too, I think like with Griezmann coming to the league, it just adds another quality like world football player that still has a lot left in the tank. Like this isn't a Griezmann that is just completely past it.
He's going to be a starter on that France team.
Yeah, it's like this isn't Griezmann like completely done. Like I get like when Zlatan came over, I know it was only for a year. Dude, Zlatan had like 38 goals in the MLS.
Scoring from like half field too.
It was unbelievable. Zlatan was unbelievable. He was a demigod in the MLS. Lionel Messi, a demigod in the MLS. I think Antoine Griezmann is one of those signings where we're going to look back and go, wow, Orlando really changed the trajectory of everything they're doing after they brought in Antoine Griezmann. Folks, speaking of Miguel Gallardo, it's now time to bring him on in. Once again, Miguel, a legendary goalkeeping career in Mexico and in the MLS with the aforementioned Orlando City. He's a current match and studio analyst with Apple TV. Miguel, welcome on into Pink Smoke, brother. How are you today?
Hey, Mike. What a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot for the introduction. I was actually part of the Orlando City like way back in the day, USL days, first goalkeeper, man, such a great time playing for the Lions since they started. And now to be part of all this stuff happening with Antoine Griezmann, I heard you talking about him. Yep. It's just absolutely crazy. I had a chance to sit down with him and, my first impression of the guy, he's a really, really nice guy. He's excited to be here.
Now, Miguel, let's start there with Griezmann because I said, partner, listen, we're Inter Miami, we're Team Lionel Messi, but this is a Messi-esque kind of player at the level that Griezmann is right now. This is like the second best player coming on over to the MLS, I think, immediately when Griezmann steps onto the pitch. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, that could be debatable. I think James Rodriguez might have something to say there, right?
Yeah.
If he ever gets on the field with Minnesota United. But look, there's no doubt that he is a generational talent. He's achieved so much, hundreds of goals in Spain, and obviously the World Cup champion. And I think also his ability to play different roles. He's a goal scorer. He's a goal provider. He's also somebody who's willing to work hard defensively. I was actually talking to him, and I did ask him, hey, where do you feel more comfortable? Because I think that is a question of where he's going to fit with Orlando City, right? And a player like that, you just put him on the field and just let him do his thing. But you do have to protect him, and you do have to put him in a situation where he's going to feel most comfortable. And in that conversation, he said, obviously, I like scoring goals. I like to be, I'd like to be playing at the top. I like to be playing as a second striker. But I said to him, I remember the World Cup in 2000 and when you guys won it, and you worked as a midfielder. And I even remember Mbappe calling you like Griezmann Conte because of his defensive effort. And he said, I'm always willing to do the work. With that team, they didn't need more attacking power. They were just so talented that I felt like my place was working hard and being a provider. So I say that to say that the guy can do many things. I highly doubt that Orlando City is going to use him in a, midfielder role where his responsibility is to track back. I fully think he's going to play, as a striker, as the second striker. But the guy is very versatile, and I think he automatically, 35 years old, I think he's still in a great age. He becomes one of the best players in the league, no doubt about that.
Now, Miguel Gallardo joining us here on Pink Smoke, former MLS Liga MX player, 12-year goalkeeper. Was on the, I believe, Miguel, correct me if I'm wrong, partner, you're on the Orlando broadcast as well. So this is a team that you really have a lot of familiarity with. Partner, after talking to Grease, I mean, what was the biggest reason, after talking to him, what do you think the biggest reason was for him to pick Orlando and to be okay with leaving a team like Atletico Madrid, similar to Rodrigo de Paul? You know, we all forget Rodrigo de Paul and Griezmann were on the same team a calendar year ago. What do you think what do you think the biggest reason was to make Griezmann come to the MLS and play for Orlando City?
Right. Listen, we know that he's been flirting with Major League Soccer for quite a few years now, right? And you know, I think that the team that he was rumored to come to was LAFC for a long time because of the French connection, because of Carlos Vela, who's a very dear friend to him. They played together at Real Sociedad for a few years, and they experienced some wonderful things together. Listen, I think the guy's just experienced so much already. He's won so much. You know, he's close to achieving also something special with Atletico Madrid. And I think this is a league that he's always wanted to come, understanding that he still had a lot of quality to play at the absolute highest level, and obviously he still does. I think this is just something personal to him. He wanted to come be part of the league. When Messi comes, that obviously brings a lot of attention. When Giroud comes, that brings attention. Lloris, I mean, you name it. There's so many players that have come from the absolute highest level and really enjoyed their time. So I think it's just been something in his mind. And when I asked him why now, he just said he was really happy with the conversation that he had with Orlando City GM Ricardo Moreira, that he had a great conversation with the ownership group and the Will family, that they were not only convincing, but the project that they presented to him seemed really excited to him. I don't know that there was any particular situation when it comes to where he was in his career, physically, mentally. I think he's been wanting to come for a long time, and I think Orlando City presented a very exciting project to him at the end of his contract with Atletico Madrid, and he felt like maybe signing another contract. Now you put him at 36, 37. I don't know what that looks like, and then now the picture looks a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. He's probably coming at right at the time where if he waits 1 or 2 more years, maybe it becomes questionable of what he can do. But right now, with 35 years old, at the top of his game, you know, winning things with Atletico Madrid, there's no doubt that he will still contribute a lot. Also, it's a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a 5-6 year contract. It's a 2-year contract, which I think you're going to get the best juice out of him. And then we'll see how he feels. We'll see how this whole thing goes to figure out what else he wants to do or what the possibilities are. But I think it's a really smart move from Orlando City. And I really, if I am Orlando City ownership group, I really like that number. 2 years. I really like that number.
Yep. And it gives Orlando an opportunity, too, to build even more, you know, build this offseason or whenever the windows are. I think it could be similar to when Messi, you know, joined Orlando. You get Messi and you build around him. I think that's certainly what could happen for Orlando. Now, the next time our Inter Miami Herons play Orlando in the Florida Derby, May 2nd, and that is going to be here in South Florida. Miguel, I am certainly looking forward to that. Now, partner, getting on track with us is the Inter Miami Radio Network. Once again, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez, and joining us now, Miguel Gallardo, 12-year goalkeeper, Mexico, MLS, and now current Apple TV analyst. Now, Miguel, Inter Miami bounced from CONCACAF Champions Cup. We're still licking our wounds a bit. You know, I damn to hell that stupid, and I mean stupid, away goal rule that we need to move on from in that competition. What was your initial reaction of Inter Miami? You know, I guess technically getting bounced out in the draw at home against Nashville after Nashville was able to get that late goal and go ahead into the next round because of the away goal rules.
Yeah, look, and when you have fallen short multiple times, there's so much pressure involved because the margin of error is non-existent, especially with the away goal rule, which is bad if it doesn't benefit you. It's really good if it benefits you, right? I think Nashville would have complained too if it didn't benefit them, but that's obviously understandable. It's very disappointing. I think what's most disappointing to me is that Messi did his thing. He was a protagonist. He was always looking to score goals. He was very close to scoring goals. Nashville probably could have scored more goals as well and made it more difficult, especially in the first game. What I'm disappointed at is the rest of the front line. Berterame still hasn't scored a goal. Allende is not the Allende that was the last games of last year, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Suarez, his role is limited now, but there's no one else that's scoring goals for Inter Miami. And it's very difficult to win when you're relying on Messi to score goals, provide assists, and do absolutely everything. You put so much pressure on the defense as well, especially with the style of play that is so front-footed, very aggressive, fullbacks high. Transition moments are very are happening often, and the margins are very slim. I think for me, that's the disappointing part, is that you spend so much money on a player like Berterame, and he still hasn't found the back of the net. I'm not saying he's a bad player. We know he's a quality player, but when you pay that price tag, you're not just playing that price tag for the quality of the player, but you're playing the price tag for the experience and the moments. And it's in the do or die moments where those players have to show up. And unfortunately for Inter Miami, that hasn't been the case. And that's probably the most disappointing part. And listen, they've won Leagues Cup, they've won MLS Cup, they've broken all kinds of records. CONCACAF Champions Cup was the desire. That was the goal this year.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to deal with mentally because it's over so soon. It's over so soon. And now you're going to have a World Cup. Especially players are excited to play in the World Cup. Inter Miami has a few players that are going to be playing in the World Cup. But for the rest of the team, it's really difficult to get up for it now, knowing that I'm not going to say there's nothing to play for, but there's certainly nothing new to play for. And that's the challenging part.
And Miguel, certainly the emphasis was CONCACAF Champions Cup this year. You don't bring in Herman Berterame and not want to win that competition. You don't bring in Dane St. Clair. I mean, partner, you're a goalkeeper. All right.
Yeah.
Dane St. Clair has not been the Dane St. Clair we saw that won the 2025 Goalkeeper of the Year.
Don't get me started on that one, because I have my thoughts on that one. And
I want to get you, brother. I want to get you started. You got to. I have been on his case, I think, more than anybody here at the station. I think the game against LAFC, unacceptable to leave his lines on that Denny Bouanga goal. There are multiple times where it's hitting him in the hands and he's letting it behind the net. And then not to mention against New York, we got away with one. He caught the ball outside of the box. Like, these are goalkeeper things that are happening, Miguel, that you do in high school, not at the MLS level.
So it's funny because, first of all, I think he's a phenomenal goalkeeper. Let me be clear. I think he's a phenomenal shot stopper, right? He's proven it year in and year out. National team with with Canada. His role, I don't know what it is now. Is he starting? Is he not starting? But the reality is that the competition is not the greatest, because Crepeau, who plays for Orlando City, also hasn't had a good start, and he didn't have a good year with Portland last year either. When Sinclair was announced for Miami, I had a couple of thoughts on the chat, on the WhatsApp chat that we have internally with for MLS 360 and all that stuff, because it's a completely different animal to play for a team like Inter Miami, who has the ball most of the time, who the way you're going to see the ball, it's in transition moments, in set pieces, in mistakes out of the back, because when you try it so much, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to encounter situations where you're in a 1v1 situation. It's very difficult to play for a team like that, where you're going to see the ball 4 or 5 times, than to play for a team like Minnesota, where they played on a low block and all you had to do is stay in your line and make saves. That is the number one thing and the simplest things you can do as a goalkeeper. That's obviously a very minimal, a simple way to see it, but it's along those lines. It's no coincidence that the goalkeepers of the year in the last 3 years, probably further, that's just what I can remember, are Kalina under Dean Smith. That was a very low block, very counter-attacking team that they took a lot of shots from outside the box. And it was Roman Berkey that also was a very low block team. Shot. Let me tell you something. When you play for a team like that, you put 50% of the goalkeepers in Major League Soccer, they're going to make saves and they're going to be the star, right? And for me, I'm yet to see a Dane Sinclair that is comfortable playing a high line, that is comfortable in transition moments, that is comfortable playing out of the back. not just in terms of quality, but in terms of decision making. And that is a very, very different style. You look at teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, and those guys were attacked 3 or 4 times a game, and they got scored on a couple of times, but their team scored more times. But it's very difficult because you tend to lose a little bit of concentration when your team has the ball most of the time. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing at all. And I think it's going to take an adjustment. Again, I think he's a good goalkeeper. He's a phenomenal shot stopper. I think technically he's good on the ball, but I think it's taken an adjustment from him to be able to play for a team that has the ball most of the time, and the amount of in the times that you get attacked or you see the ball, it's in transition moments. It's very different.
Now, Miguel Gallardo joining us here on Pink Smoke, former professional goalkeeper, Mexico, the States. He's on the bilingual Apple TV MLS coverage. You can see him all over the place on Spanish and English. Now, Miguel, before we let you go, partner, the MLS this year, obviously our Inter Miami Herons, we're playing for the MLS and Leagues Cup coming up. But right now the focus is, you got no choice being out of the Champions Cup. The focus is the MLS. Who do you give the edge to? I mean, my God, partner, we're not going to wrap this thing up until December. But from the little football that we've seen, in CONCACAF Champions Cup, in the MLS, Liga MS, who do you got hoisting that trophy right now as of March 25th at the end of the year in the MLS?
It's difficult to say, but if I had to pick someone today, I would probably go with LAFC. I just think they're too complete. I think their style also, it's a style that it has some intricacies, but it's not as complicated and it's not based upon one player. Playing transition football with players like Buanga and Son and David Martinez, they just have so many weapons, and then defensively they're really, really solid. I just don't see weakness in their team. Miami will figure it out. Berterame will start scoring goals, and they have a few pieces that they still need to figure it out. Listen, let's not forget it's nearly impossible to replace Busquets and Jordi Alba, and they're still trying to figure out how they do that, how they get the ball in better spots, from a deep line midfielder. It's going to take, a collective to try to replace those guys. Reguilon, who they brought to kind of mimic a little bit of Jordi Alba's, contributions. He still needs to stay healthy. Historically, he doesn't stay healthy. Hopefully this time he does. But I obviously still think Miami is going to have a say because of Messi. You can never count him out. But if I had to choose today, based on what I've seen in Week 5 of Major League Soccer, I would probably have to go with LAFC.
Buanga, Martinez, Huming, Son, the back line. It's hard not to go with LA. As an Inter Miami faithful, I'm hoping for that Messi effect. Rodrigo de Paul. I'm hoping Sergio Reguilon gets healthy, Miguel. So, the heir apparent to Jordi Alba on that left side, who probably came back a little too soon. But listen, Miguel, thank you so much for giving us all the time, number one. And hope to talk to you soon, okay? You stay ready to roll over there with Apple TV, okay?
Absolutely, fellas. Take care, okay? Enjoy it.
Thank you, Miguel. That was Miguel Gallardo, former professional goalkeeper with Apple TV. Orlando City, a household name with Orlando City when he was playing for the USL. So we appreciate him joining the show and hope to hear from him soon. Taking our final time out. When we come back, we'll go around the MLS with our good friends over at Audi, and we'll hit the injury report with Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Farmer at Pink Smoke, ESPN 106.3.
Picture this. A curve in the road. A change in plans. Well, what do you say? With the all-new Audi Q3, the answer's always yes. Yes to adventure. Yes to escape. Yes to performance. Yes to comfort. Yes to right now. Because saying yes without hesitation, that's real luxury. The all-new Audi Q3, made for the yes life.
For 40 years, Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fraunrath has stood up for clients in South Florida communities. If you've been injured, their experienced attorneys across South Florida are ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients. There's no cost for a case evaluation and no fee unless they win. Visit foryourrights.com. That's foryourrights.com. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fraunrath. Proud supporters of Inter Miami FC on ESPN South Florida. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
College basketball is heating up and the tournament is here. Don't let your home get caught off guard. Get game ready now with EDS Air Conditioning. EDS Air Conditioning is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Right now, qualified customers can get 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong on the court, not in your living room. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS has been the trusted MVP since 2006. Visit edsyes.com today.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Kevin McHale, tax partner in Anshin's Real Estate Group.
Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, recent changes to the Opportunity Zone program include a rolling capital gains deferral period, updated basis step-up, and tax-free appreciation rules, new categories of qualifying funds, and revised criteria for the census tracts that qualify as Opportunity Zones. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we help real estate professionals navigate through the new qualified Opportunity Zone rules so their investments align with their goals of maximizing deferrals, minimizing capital gains, and ensuring compliance with the updated legislation. If you're launching a new fund or restructuring existing investments, let Anshin strategically guide you through these changes and deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
This is Pink Smoke.
Messi, one-timer to Segovia, goal!
Here's Mike Rizzo.
Welcome on back to Pink Smoke. Appreciate Miguel Gallardo from Apple TV coming on and joining us, talking a little Lionel Messi, a little Inter Miami Herons, and Miguel, who was on the broadcast for Orlando City for years before joining Apple TV. He broke down the Antoine Griezmann situation. How cool is that, though? Damien, he talked to Griez. He had a chance to talk to Griezmann and the project that Orlando is building there. So the I-95 Derby, the Florida Derby, it just got a little more interesting, Damien, with Antoine Griezmann entering the rivalry.
Not in our favor, too.
No, no, not in our favor. And I mentioned to him, I think it could be a little Inter Miami effect where you get a player like Messi and Griezmann, and you build around him. I am a little worried.
Yeah, to that point, we lived it firsthand here. I mean, right before Messi came, Inter Miami was arguably probably the worst franchise in the MLS. And the turnaround was quick right away.
Yeah, and, when you have a player like Lionel Messi, who's one of the best players in the world still, even in his twilight years, I think Messi could go out and play anywhere, any league. Prem, La Liga. I think Messi could go out and have success at any league, and I think Griezmann is the same way. Folks, let's go around the MLS, presented by our great friends and brought to you by our great friends at the local South Florida Audi dealer. We all know the feeling, a change of plans, an unexpected curve, a new opportunity. Instead of overthinking, what if you just said yes? With the all-new Audi Q3, just say yes, because it's made for the yes life. With the power and room to handle whatever pops up, say yes to adventure, escape, and right now. Because saying yes without hesitation, that is what we call real luxury. That's the all-new Audi Q3, made for the yes life. Learn more at AudiUSA.com. That's AudiUSA.com, or go to your local South Florida Audi dealer and test drive that brand new Q3. Inter Miami currently sitting third on that MLS table. Most of the teams, I say actually every single team in the Eastern Conference has played 5 games outside of New England. New England currently in 4 games, sitting at 1-3. But our Inter Miami Herons in third place. Now, Dame, they're not in second because of goal differential. NYCFC still number 2 on the table. They have a +7 goal differential compared to our Herons at +1. But with 10 points on the table, they are tied in points. And then in first place is Nashville. Dude, is Nashville the real deal, Damian Perez? 4 wins, 1 draw.
Looking like it.
And they bounced Inter Miami out of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. BJ Callahan, the gaffer, the coach for Nashville, a coach that I respect, a coach, believe it or not, Damian, who I was hoping the United States men's national team would give an interview to. BJ Callahan coached the United States team to a couple of Gold Cup wins post Greg Berhalter getting the sack. And I think right now he's proving that he's one of the better coaches that our federation has to offer here in America. But Nashville sitting at 4 wins and 1 draw in first place. Damon added Jacob Scheffelberg. He's been unavailable for most of the games as well. Sam Surridge, who was 3rd in the Golden Boot race last year.
Mukhtar
Espinoza, who they added in the offseason, who had the game-winning goal against Inter Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's hard to look at the Eastern Conference and not focus on the team in first place and the team that just bounced our Inter Miami Herons out of what, I say their words, but what we all speculate to be Inter Miami's most important competition this year in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. In the Western Conference, the top 3 teams, LAFC, Vancouver, and San Jose. LAFC, same record as Nashville with 4 wins and 1 draw. We just had Miguel Gallardo, as I mentioned, from Apple TV and former professional goalkeeper. I asked him his way too early MLS winners on March 25th, and he said LAFC. And Damian, the one question I wanted to ask Miguel that I didn't get to, Davi Martinez and Denny Bouanga, do you think they're going to be playing European football coming up here in the next couple of years?
If I were to guess, I would say yes.
I would
especially David Martinez, because he's only, 20 years old?
I would say Martinez. Like, it's hard. Like, if Bouanga wanted to move this offseason,
it'd be now.
I feel like he would have already left by now, but if Bouanga continues to play the way he plays, man, it's going to be hard to argue against it. But as of March 25th, I think it's just going to be Davi Martinez. And Martinez, by the way, leading the way in MLS goals for LAFC with 2. Heung-min Son, 2 assists. And Denny Bouanga at the top of goals and assist ratio with 2 total. So, and then if we go on over to CONCACAF Champions Cup, Martinez had the game-sealing goal against, what was it, Damian, a Jamaican team?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the road against a Jamaican team. So, they're still alive in CONCACAF Champions Cup, and they are obviously one of the favorites to win.
Costa Rican, Alajuelense.
Sorry, Costa Rican. And they are one of the favorites to win CONCACAF Champions Cup and the favorite to win the MLS. Let's take a look at the injury report presented by Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath. For 40 years, Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has stood up for clients and South Florida communities. If you've been injured, their experienced attorneys at Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath across South Florida are ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients. There is no cost for a case evaluation and no fee unless they win. Visit abogado-florida.com for more information. That's abogado-florida.com for more information. Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath are proud supporters of Inter Miami CF on ESPN West Palm. They have main offices in Palm Beach Gardens. Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath. 2 players, Damian, Sergio Reguilon and Maxi Falcone. Reguilon, I think maybe tried to come back too soon. I'm not questioning the physios.
He was looking great in that game, too.
I mean, dude, he almost scored a goal, too.
Yeah, the assist.
That's been his shtick. That's his knock.
Yeah.
His inability to stay healthy. It hurt him at Tottenham Hotspur. It hurt him at Manchester United.
And at a national team level, too, with Spain.
I think he's a hell of a player. I think it's just going to be one of those things where he is going to be a frequent flyer on our Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath injury report.
Now, question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Maxi Falcone went down with a knee injury. Lujan has been playing great. Mikael also scored a goal. He's been playing really good. Once Maxi Falcone is back, because it's not a long-term issue, it should be back. He should be back within the next few weeks. Do you just place him right back into that lineup?
Yeah, my 2 cents, Damian, I think Lujan screwed up in the CONCACAF Champions Cup game. Both him and Mikael, to be fair. Let Dane Sinclair, why aren't you marking your man? Let Sinclair.
In their defense, though, 2 games, one goal combined.
It stinks that it had to be the goal that bounced you out of CONCACAF Champions Cup. I know I even saw Inter Miami faithful arguing that Dane St. Clair needed to do a better job of getting off his line sooner. And I know you might disagree with me, partner. I think St. Clair has been one of the worst players for Inter Miami this year.
With all the expectations, you can say that.
The LAFC game, you lost the game either way. He left his lines 3 different times too early.
I would put Allende up there too.
Oh, God.
You know, he's
Damien, I texted you. I texted you at halftime. And folks says, I'm the voice of Inter Miami here in football. I don't go after our players on the broadcast. It's just something I refuse to do. That is something that is, in my opinion, very unprofessional. I texted you about Allende, though. My God, you couldn't get him off the pitch faster. And I think Telesco Segovia has been quality. Messi has been quality. I think Bertarame, more to be desired, but poor Allende. My God, he broke the record for for most goals in a single MLS playoff run last year. He's literally in the MLS history books, and he's unplayable at the moment.
Yeah, and I know Bertarame hasn't had the best start to the season, but at least he works hard off the ball. He's productive off the ball. When it comes to scoring, he still contributes to the game. With Allende, when he has a bad game, I mean, you forget he's on the field.
Yeah, and the dispossessions, the giveaways. Now, Segovia had a shocking giveaway against New York as well. Thankfully, it did not turn into a goal late in that game. Do you remember the play I'm talking about? It was a diving slide tackle. I believe, what was it, Luan? Maybe it was Luan. But Segovia had a tough giveaway. And listen, that's all. In football, you're not going to be at your best 24/7. But certainly more to be desired. And that is the injury report. Once again, Lighter Rider, Smith, Ivy, and Farm Rats. Abogado-Florida.com for more information. Folks, you hear that music? That means it's time for us to go. Sometimes friends have to go away, but a part of them stays with you forever. Remember that in this life. We got international duty. We have international duty, so no Inter Miami here in football coming up this weekend. But guess what? April 4th, brand spanking new stadium being opened up in Miami.
Yes, sir.
I will be on site for the game. I am looking forward to opening up the new stadium with all of you. Austin FC going to be the opponent. We'll catch up with you next Wednesday and April 4th when Inter Miami opens their new stadium. This has been Pink Smoke on ESPN 106.3.
Whether it's a clutch touchdown pass, a game-winning dunk, or an impressive dash to the finish,